Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the high probability watch list and market radar for next week, which will be May 23rd, 2016. I typically start this on Friday, gets done about Friday evening, gets sent out to the members. Sometimes it's split into two parts. First part of market radar and discussing the market and a review of what's going on. Especially the new segment I want to do is kind of look back at the week past and define all the visual divergences we came across and see how they worked out. And I've been circling those in blue on the chart. I've been doing a lot more segments on charting during the day. But anyway, so we're going to start off with that. But I also just want to catch us up right now on a Friday afternoon. When we take a look at how this market was set up, we were looking into Friday today, waiting for this market to give us a signal. And the hard part is that daily 60 were pointing down, and then the daily, the market sold off here recently. Let me get the chart up here, and the 60-minute got oversold. And the daily started pulling back. But with the daily pulling back, it really didn't pull back as aggressive as the price, so it was hanging up there. As you can see, I'm going to show you the daily. It was hanging up here as the market here continued to push lower, setting up a classic lane divergence, a textbook lane divergence, where this previous low where the stochastics were oversold, marks our first low that we're going to measure, and then we had the market bounce up here, and this was a good trading zone that we traded, and then we failed, and a failure usually brings us back to underneath the previous low. In this case, we went down underneath the previous low here, but the stochastics didn't rotate all the way back down. And at that time, that 60-minute time frame also got set up, and it was also a 1-2-3 pattern. There was it was just a perfect 1-2-3 pattern. It went out multiple days. It went all the way back to the beginning in April, I think the end of April, mid-April. And that's where that trend line came into play. So we've already hit it multiple times here, and this was a nice wedge pattern. And we broke out, and we've traded these using the SPY options. And we just traded our SPY options today. We got in yesterday off of this signal. This is a signal we want to get in on. We saw that actually we did see just a nice at the time of our entry. We're looking at some divergences here, and I think this was here we are. Well, I'm not going to go into it in more detail. There was a divergence right here. 11 to 12 o'clock, and it was a pretty decent one, and we could see it on the other on the 1 minute too. And then I think we also had a RAMBOT signal at that point. So anyway, we wanted to start taking our positions to go long, because what we're seeing is that 60-minute time frame got oversold, and we're on that lower trend line. That's just a combination I would always take. If I have such a good pattern like this that's playing out, and it's very recognizable, meaning that it has defined trend lines, we know about charting enough. We're past that level that we know how a channel performs, why it's a channel. There's usually channels within channels, and we know the effect of a divergence inside of a channel. So it's about waiting for these things to set up, and that was a perfect setup right there, and it actually moved back up. And now, today, as we had this bullish bias because everything lined up for a bounce, we have that bounce in effect. And that's where we are right now, coming into about 12 o'clock. And we just started rolling over off the highs of the day. What a nice move out of the gate. We took our calls off for a nice profit. Holding one still, actually. I scaled out of them this morning. Holding one because I did expect that daily divergence to maybe be a very powerful move. And we can actually see a pretty big move in the S&P over the next few trading sessions. Micron. Unbelievable setup here on Micron, and this is looking good. And there's a lot of stocks that we're going to go over on the HPS watch list coming up. But right now, again, at the point, if we're looking at market radar, we just had a 5-minute sell signal at, now, this is something I don't normally show. You don't see unless you're a member. Let me see if I can bring it up on the screen here fast, very fast. Bring up the dashboard. I want to move this over here. Oh, we just had the 1-minute buy signal too. Let me turn that off. So here's the picture of the dashboard. And this is part of, I can't fit the whole thing in on the screen, but down here we have our RAMBOT. It's an automated alert that searches out and alerts us to buy signals on multiple time frames. And these are based off the divergences of the stochastics and the price and some other things. And it is dead on. It is really key. We tend to mark off in the on the chart where these things happen. So if you're watching the show, live during the day, you will see us mark these off. Even though sometimes we might not mark them off right at the time. If you're in the platform, you get them real time and you can mark them yourself. But for me, I always try to keep you up to date on how these things are performing, but to have it on your own platform, you have to be a member. So you won't get them all. And we just had one. We just had that 5-minute. If you take a look back over here, I don't want to get confusing. Market was selling off here. If we look down here, this is where the RAMBOT trigger. So 11:45. Our 5-minute signals are usually our some of our best signals we could have. So we want to pay attention to that signal whenever it's a dark red or a dark green. We go all the way out here. You can see that green. That was a 5-minute setup, and that's the one we were talking about yesterday. It came in right before 12 o'clock. That was our big setup, and it really reversed the market. So now we just had 11:45. We just had a sell signal. So I'd go back over to the chart here, and then I would as you can see during the day, and this is what Paul's doing right now. So if you're watching the show, you'll see he has 11:45. He has a nice 5-minute sell signal there. So I'll just put it there for now because I'm tracking the market. I'm doing a lot of trading today behind the scenes too. So that's where we are right now. And depending on how this market closes up, we still have a lot of time in front of us. And this market has been weaker, and there's been the speculation that we've been set up for, more of a prolonged move down. But I'm happy to see this move, kind of play out the way it should have played out. We still have time on the hourly, to get that full rotation. The daily, like I said, it looks like it's starting to turn back up, and that would be a classic divergence. So everything here is pointed to this channel to break out to the upside. That's something positive to look at. The negative, if it fails, if it does fail, the signal was pretty much given there. We do have a pretty decent crossover. We have a good reversal candle, a follow-through day, 60 daily. If that failed for some reason, then there's a big sign that there's, that typically doesn't fail. There's got to be something wrong with the markets in a way that it needs to go back down. But I don't see that happening. But it's good to watch it. Apple here, new highs on the day. The other thing is, we're focusing a lot on the divergence setup, and that's what I really want to bring to you on the HPS watch list. Now, we have core stocks that are happening that are not always HPS divergence setups. We have other HPS playbook plays, what might be wedge patterns without a divergence. It could be, channel trades, channel breakout, stochastic rotation. So a lot of different techniques we could use and find these. But on this, when we do put out that big list, we want to always kind of keep the best of the best. That's what we want to serve. But so this week is interesting. I'm still trading, and again, I want to go over on a separate video the HPS watch list with you. But just to talk about a couple setups right now that we're actively in. Micron has been very interesting. Applied Materials came out with the earnings yesterday, and I knew once they came out and they actually did pretty good, that Micron would trigger off of that and would get a nice move back up. Now this is a very nice base in Micron, and we're just starting to move up on the daily. The 60 still looks okay. I like it for to get to $11 pretty fast. When we start to make a move like this, analysts will start catching wind of it again. It's back above $10. You might actually see a couple, some new, new calls on this, new analyst calls. Be it, I would think buys. Some buy ratings issued on this or to accumulate, down at this level going to the second half of 2016 and starting to see the Applied Materials report coming out pretty good. So Micron here, definitely like that. That's the cheapest you're probably going to see from me. I did pick out some cheap ones, but Whole Food Mart also. It's embedded now on the daily. This is another basing stock, and this came right out of this. This was actually a double bottom divergence on the 60-minute time frame, where the price comes down, retests the low, previous low, or goes lower, but you can see the definite divergence between the price and the stochastics. This is very obvious, and when you see that, you get a move after that. So, great example right there. And here's another divergence on Whole Food Mart. And this goes back to some of the comments I made yesterday about, putting together your watch list. If it's 10 stocks or 100 stocks, scan through them and take the best setups. When this setup doesn't come around too often. You probably qualified here, where we just talked about right here, with this reversal candle and crossing back up. So you had a trading zone here, you had a trading zone here, and that's it's a month in between. But you're looking at multiple stocks that are spread out on multiple sectors, and sometimes they might show up, and sometimes you might want to also scan the 60-minute time frame to get the smaller moves, which is, what? Look at what I'm looking at. I'm on the 60-minute time frame, so that just shows you. I'm looking at I thought that was the daily before, and I thought that was the days, but it's actually the hours, and I just zoomed it in here, and it's the 60 minutes. So that 60-minute time frame divergence, which is even better, is something that could happen every couple of days. It could happen in this case like every once a week. I mean, and then getting back to the point of trading multiple, having a very good focus list of stocks that cover different sectors. Usually these sectors all line up together. So we might be looking at grocers, because Kroger actually is going to be on the watch list this week. So a little freebie there. Because what you see here is a divergence, a lower low and a higher low. So we have Whole Food Mart, maybe Kroger, maybe just some other ones that are kind of specialized in the grocer. I won't call it Fairway Market. What is that? FWM? Fairway's going bankrupt. 8-cent stock. Wow. Crushed. Whole Food Mart, though, getting back to that. Nice breakout. It looks embedded. It probably has some follow-through. And then the Kroger with the divergence. You'll see that later as an alert. But definitely Kroger looking pretty good. So to finish up the market radar portion of this video, and then we're going to get kicking off on the watch list stocks. We'll just take a look here at the SPX one more time. Run through the multiple time frames. If you happen to get this video, and I'm going to send it out pretty fast, so you should get it before the end of the close. A couple things that I'll be looking for to see if we actually hold up here. Of course, we're holding the 20 right now, the 200, the 50 period moving average. We're about to get the 50 crossover. This looks like a decent enough channel breakout that maybe a rotation back into the channel line should be watched.
RAMBOT 1-minute buy signal.
And you heard that, right? That just happened there. So you got a RAMBOT buy signal right there. That's what typically you hear on the show. And I'm looking at this support level that's coming in. That's 247 to 245 area. So that could be a 10-point pullback, actually. From this point on. The 5 minutes curled back down. It does look like, the 60 minutes getting up there. We haven't fully gotten extended, but it is getting up there. I like the breakout here. I like the bigger channel. This typically breaks higher, but we are running out of steam on the 60. We have to see that start to embed, maybe a small pullback and then a breakout or a continuation move today into the end of the day. But this daily, at least, things play out like we want to see them play out, like they normally play out. We should get a nice run up to this, the top part of this channel line, at least up to this point, and I would say a good shot of breaking out of it. And from that point on, we'll reevaluate. But I do like this signal going into the daily. That's about it for now. So I think that might trigger next week. 60-minute time frame, getting a little extended. 5-minute pushing down right now. CMG pushing back up, and I'm going to leave that off. I want to try to get this off here because I got a lot of stocks to go over on the watch list. If you're not getting the watch list, then you need to get a membership. All right, and have those divergence setups brought right to your email. You don't even have to deal you don't have to put in the hours of research that I do, every single day. You get these great setups delivered right to you. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the markets.